So now that we have our content for the header, the nav, the footer, and the main built into our HTML up here, we can now then go start stylizing it. We were discussing how at the end that when we define how wide something is, we want to be consistent. So if we want these to just literally be boxes sitting on top of each other, like we saw in the example at the beginning of these lessons, then we're going to make them all have consistent widths. So down here, after the header, I'm going to go ahead and create the nav. So just like we did with the header, how do I make the nav have a height, a width, and a background color? Calling upon it, right? So I'm going to type nav, open up my curly brackets, and I want you to pause the video here, and I want you to go ahead and apply a width to this that you think is appropriate, a height of 50 pixels, and a background color of pink. So pause the video here and do that really quick on your own. So I'm going to give it a height of 50 pixels, and I'm going to give it a background color of pink. Just so I can see it. I mean, I know these colors don't work well together, but at least you can see that it exists, right? And then what would be the width? Right now it's spanning as far over as the page can go, and it'll expand and collapse as the page gets bigger and smaller. But what's the width I want it to be? If I want these boxes to literally be stacked on top of each other, I want to make sure that I'm going to go ahead and save this real quick so it updates. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they look consistent. Right now, they don't look consistent. My nav goes as far over as the page can go, and my header is stuck at a certain width. So I'm going to go ahead and make my width the same. And I'm going to put width, and I'm going to look up at the width I made for a header, which was 800 pixels, and I'm going to put 800 pixels here. And then that will allow me to have a nav that looks consistent with the web page and automatically has the same width so that they're not like expanding and collapsing and moving, right? Okay, we're gonna do the same thing for main and footer. Now, to save us time and energy, because I don't like wasting time and energy, I'm gonna take my entire header tag, lines 4 through 6 in my CSS, the entire declarations and everything for it. I'm gonna copy that. So you can right click copy, or you can hit Control C on your keyboard, whatever works for you. I usually hit Control C. If you're not using your keyboard shortcuts, start becoming friends with your keyboard, because when we get to Photoshop and Illustrator, we're going to use a lot of keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to hit enter here, and I'm going to paste it. And this time, instead of it hitting header, though, I'm going to go ahead and name it main. And then that's going to apply the main. You'll see automatically main picks up. It's got a height, a width, and a background color. Now, my height's a little bit different. I probably am going to want a larger height than 150 pixels. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to like, I don't know, 500 pixels. And I'm going to give it a different background color, so it's a different color than my other pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and put like orange, just so I can see the different boxes and know which one is which. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to paste it again. And this one, instead of the header, is going to be the footer. And I'm going to go ahead and see that down here as I scroll in and give it a background color of yellow. And then I'm going to actually change its height to be only like 25 pixels. I don't want a really tall footer. I want it to be very skinny because I only have one thing I'm going to be putting in there. Okay, so now you've got this header, footer, nav, and main all in here, and you've got this box at the bottom that we've been ignoring, but we'll come back to. So if I go to view it, I can see that my header goes across, my nav goes across, my main content is there, and my footer goes across. And then we've got this box. So I have a challenge before you go to the next video. I want you to take the footer. Let's take the footer information in the header or the HTML. So I'm going to go to where it says footer, and I'm going to go ahead and put the word copyright 2020. And if this isn't 2020 anymore when you're watching this video, just put the current year. And I want you to get a copyright symbol before this. So right now it just says copyright 2020, but I want the little C with the circle around it. That is the copyright symbol. And you're going to have to Google it so you can get the copyright symbol. So I want you to see if you can do that before the next video. Don't forget to save your pen too. Importante.